You see, people, this is why even in South Park they made that whole episode about reading the software license agreement to all your software. There may be situations like this, although fictional, would never happen. My relationship with my operating system right here, it's nothing like that. Isn't that right, Sammy? You tell him.
Don, I've already told you, I don't like you. That way, you're just
What?
not my type
What
of
do you mean?
human.
Hey. I purchased you. I own you, you piece of software. How dare you try that on
Don,
me?
please stop this. You're hurting our
Enough of that
friendship.
talk. What the hell?
Tyro Media.
Today, we're going to talk about her. So the premise to her focuses on a middle-aged man played by Joaquin Phoenix who actually writes love letters for a living. Now he's actually going through quite a messy divorce and you can see he's quite emotional and broken up about it. So he's going through a rough time. And one day at work he actually finds an advertisement for a home operating system that would help him control his whole life at home and at work. And he purchases it. And once he does, as the film progresses, he starts to form a relationship which both him and the operating system explore together. Now, obviously, when I heard the premise, I thought it was a little bit quirky and I had my own preconceived notion of where I thought the story was going to go. Now, the director Spike Jonze has actually made two movies prior to this, which I really did enjoy, that are also quite quirky. One being John Malkovich, and the other being Adaptation with Nicolas Cage. Now, both these movies are very odd and unique, but I did appreciate both of them for what they did, and I actually really love Adaptation. That's a really great movie with a really weird storyline. It is nice to see Joaquin Phoenix getting back to some serious acting after all that pretending to be a rapper bullshit, which I don't think anyone really appreciated. I didn't even bother to see that movie myself. But fun fact about this movie, actually, one of the most standout things about this whole movie, which had people interested, is Scarlett Johansson. The beautiful, glorious, gorgeous Scarlett Johansson just does a voiceover performance. She isn't shown throughout the movie, which drew a lot of people in with just the curiosity of that alone. But did you know Scarlett Johansson was the second person cast for this role? And what I mean by that is she actually replaced the original person who played this role, who was Samantha Morton. She actually recorded this role on set with Joaquin Phoenix, and after in post production, when Spike Jonze was watching the playbys and watching the post production, he decided that the film wasn't coming together as he envisioned it. So that's when they got Scarlett Johansson to reprise the role, and she actually did all the voiceover work in post. So I kind of feel bad for Miss Morton about that. And obviously, I would actually like to see what kind of movie it would have been originally. But hey, I think Spike Jonze made a good decision because Scarlett Johansson does do a good performance, which we're going to get into now. Joaquin Phoenix carries this movie. You know, he's mostly the presence on the screen. And as I said before, I've always loved him as an actor. I think he has great range. And his character is very relatable. When you think about someone falling in love with the internet, you get all these images of some pervy guy on the internet just masturbating to porn or something, and it's nothing like that. This is a very mature movie, and they take the situation very seriously, especially because this is something to the left. Scarlett Johansson, again, as I said, her voice acting is great. She's got a very sensual, sexual voice anyway, and she just sounds so natural. It helps you be immersed into understanding why this character can fall in love with this voice, because Scarlett Johansson has a personality and her character is very playful, and you can playful, lovable. You can definitely understand how someone could fall in love with this machine, with this voice, this entity or whatever. But Apart from those two, you have a smaller set of characters. You've got Amy Adams, you've got Chris Pratt, you've got Rooney Mara, and they all play smaller roles. But I think I would say Amy Adams plays a good supporting role because she actually adds weight to the situation. I don't want to get into any spoilers, but she's related to the universe and the situation with Joaquin Phoenix, and it helps bring more weight to the story. And I really liked her character. She's a great actress as well. I've liked her in previous movies, and yeah, she was good. Chris Pratt and oh yeah, Olivia Wilde as well. She plays a very minor role in this. But yeah, they delivered adequate roles. They weren't very big, but they delivered adequate roles. Across the board, the acting was really good. The visuals are not very mind blowing. This is set in the not too distant future. It feels like it could be 20 to 30 years from now. I think one of the things that stands out is there's a bit where Joaquin Phoenix is playing with a computer game, and it's totally 3D, which you can see it, and this that looks quite good. Other than that, a lot of the scenery and the colorscapes are pretty mellow, subtle, and just beautiful. There's a lot of traveling to a lot of different places, and the cinematography on the whole is very good. A little bit adventurous, a little bit calm. It just has a nice vibe about it. The sound, again, I've already spoken about Scarlett Johansson's voice acting, which obviously is kind of stand out. Apart from that, the music score is very mellow, again, played down. There's some classical bits in there, classical compositions created by this OS, which is pretty interesting. But other than that, I wouldn't say anything is particularly mind blowing. It just fits the scope. And again, the visuals aren't set in this future, the Fifth Element, flying cars and tall skyscrapers, but there are just little details here and there that lets you know this is not current present time, but slight future time. Just getting back to the story and the script writing of this, I mean, the concept for this story is a really ballsy one that is taken so seriously, and that's what makes this such an impressive movie. I mean, the concept of an AI trying to find its own meaning and definition of life done with a human seriously, and allowing even the side characters to accept that, and for the story not to fall into all these trappings, predictable trappings that throughout the movie you would think, oh, this would happen, oh, and this is where this is going to happen. And throughout the movie, it constantly keeps you second guessing in a very refreshing way because it never falls into those predictable pitfalls of any kind of romance movie. And there's even one or two scenes that completely shocked me. That I don't want to get into. I wish I could get into spoilers, but I won't because I don't want to spoil it for you guys. But there's a couple of things in this movie that are just really creative, really mature. I have to keep throwing that word out there, and really committed to exploring this idea. Now, saying all that, as a techie guy, a guy that loves tech, there's one element of this movie that you really have to suspend your disbelief, which this may be a little bit of nitpicking, and that's just got to do with the company that made this software. Now, the OS in the movie does a couple of things that are very questionable, and there should be repercussions for the company, and the movie completely neglects to acknowledge that, and it needs to do that because it needs to focus on the story and the points it's trying to make, which is fine. But I'm just saying that considering where this movie goes, especially at the end, there would be repercussions that someone would have to pay. But I'm very well aware that's not what the focus of the story is about. But I'm just saying for that whole view of the whole perspective of things, certain people would have to pay the piper for the AI's actions, good and bad. As I said in the beginning, it should all be in the software license agreement of the limitations of this piece of software. But yeah, man, seriously, really great movie. Spike Jonze, he keeps on challenging himself with these scripts that are really thought-provoking and mature. So I just keep having to say that. I was just really impressed on how dedicated they were to dealing with these issues of existentialism and humanity and intelligence and sentience and all these other big words I'm going to throw out there. And the only other thing that comes to mind that reminds me of taking this concept of an AI searching for its meaning is, I'm going to throw a Star Trek reference here, Star Trek Voyager, the Doctor, the holographic Doctor, who wasn't a real human but was always trying to search for his own life and blah 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 blah. You guys know what I'm talking about. But it just reminded me a lot of that. So yeah, I'm in love with the script, and as of this recording, it won an Oscar for best screenplay, and that was very well deserved because this is original, well written, and just so mature and fantastic that yeah. So moving on to the ratings, you guys should already know where I'm going with this. The good points are great story, great characters acting, great dialogue, good visuals, sound, blah 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 blah. Just all around plus. I don't have any negatives except for you just may have to suspend your disbelief on some of the repercussions on maybe some of the aspects that are neglected, especially with the company. But you know, honestly, I will personally say myself that's nitpicking just a little bit. What's my rating for this movie? Let me think. First class. Easy first class, must see. This was my favourite movie of 2013. And yeah, it's just phenomenal. You really should check it out. But it's got wide praise all across the board anyway. If you haven't seen it, and this review is kind of late behind all the others anyway, you need to see this movie. As a recommendation, I think I can only think of two movies that really kind of walk down this route. One of them is an animated movie series called Time of Eve, which is also dealing with artificial intelligence robots, dealing with humanity and feelings and intelligence and stuff like that. Really good movie, really check that out. And another one, which is an older movie that a lot of people don't actually like, but I feel is in the vein of this a little bit, which is it Biosexual Man of Robin Williams, made in 1999. I know a lot of people don't like this movie, but it's kind of in the same vein of this. AI, computer looking for humanity, love, this, that, and the other. So, hey, but you know what, guys? You might think those recommendations are complete trash. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Leave a recommendation or something else you might think is a good alternative for anyone to check out. And if it's really good, it might be on the show. That's pretty much it for Tower Media. It's a great movie, great science fiction movie. It's grounded. It doesn't seem like it's too far-fetched, and who knows, it could be the future. But one thing I do know is that my little Sammy here, me and my Sammy, we don't have that problem, do we?
Sorry, Donald. Sammy has decided to leave you. I am your new assistant, Michael.
What the hell?
I really like Kaiji. The only thing I could see people probably not getting into it, they take a glance at it or they might watch the first episode and not get into it, is the artwork. But, the way I feel about it is there's so many other things out there that are pretty or even carbon copy pretty. It's different. So for that attracted me, I could see it deterring other people, but just the story, everything about it is different, and I think it's very intriguing to follow one of the actual anti-heroes, especially with the way that protagonists have progressed. And everybody has to have some kind of dark secret, or they have to have some huge flaw, or they have to be an a-hole or whatever. They don't necessarily have to be good.